for Flabonga Monthrothacube. With Dale and Tony breaking all the rules. Talking tech, biz, and straight up chaos. Quick fire guests, oh yeah, we slay those.
Good afternoon. My name is Dale Rodriguez, and this is Flabonga Monthrothacube. With me today, I've got my awesome co-host. Is this where you find out Zoe has frozen instantly?
I didn't know if it was
Hi,
me.
Zoe Lacey Cooper here from Alternative Events.
Oh, Zoe. Oh, Zoe. The lag. The lag, Zoe.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm so sorry.
First 30 seconds of the stream. Unbelievable.
That's fine,
Sorry. And our amazing guest today is...
Nick Levine. Thanks very much for having me. I don't know if this is meant to be a little quick little elevator pitch, but
No elevator pitch. No.
no. I mean, chartered accountant.
No.
Work with been self-employed for 4 years. Work with mainly fintech companies that want to work with accountants. Written content, webinars, consulting, gun for hire. Really, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it.
Gun for hire, whatever I'll do it.
Yeah. I'm not. You know what? When I was always told, right? But
Don't give me that liberty. Don't give me that liberty.
Finance people, right? Can I just cut right in here? Is this allowed?
You can do as you please.
Yeah. So I remember I was a financial controller at a tech company about 10 years ago, and the FD said to me, he was like, in a company, when there's a job that nobody wants to do, it will be finance that ends up doing it. And the reason why is just people that are like in finance, like accountant types, they're generally quite responsible people. So if SHIT needs doing and no one else will do it, it'll be someone in finance that goes and cleans the toilets because someone's got to do it and they'll take the responsibility. That's it.
I can kind of see that. Yeah, I'll give you that. You're right. Finance people generally can't responsible. One thing I want to thank you for was, first of all, saying your name, Levine, because it's Levine. That's very important.
Yeah.
Don't want to get it. And the most important question, I think I did on my original post, any relation to Adam Levine of Maroon 5?
Well, this is actually a very, very
because you kind of look like him.
question. Well, no, two things. One, I do occasionally. I've had people say that to me in the supermarket, and they've seen my bank card that says Levine on it, and they're convinced, right? But I've got a brother. Do you know what his name is?
Adam Levine.
Mm-hmm. And here's this one for you. When Maroon 5 were first breaking through, blimey, about 20 years ago, went to a concert in London at the 100 Club, and my name was on a list for an event, and I said to the woman, taking everyone's names, yeah, my name's on the list as, Nick Levine, just tipped me off. She said to me, any relation to Adam? And I was like, yeah. And I said, she goes, Adam Levine? I was like, yeah, he's my brother. I was like, sorry, do you know him? She was like, from Maroon 5. I was like, oh, no.
Oh, epic.
Because at the time they weren't that well. This was like 20 years ago, so that was quite amusing. She genuinely, that was just so funny. Yeah, there you go. So no relation.
No relation. Okay. That does lead me to one of my random questions. In terms of gigs, what's the best gig you've ever been to? What's the worst gig you've ever been to?
Ooh. You know what? You're putting me on the spot here, so I'm just going to have a spin spontaneously. The one that just jumps out is, this is about 20 years ago. There's this chap called Erland Øye, who is a Norwegian group called Kings of Convenience that plays acoustic music, but then he went a bit curveball, started doing electronica, started doing a bit of DJing, and I saw him do a show at the ICA round the corner from Buckingham Palace 20 years ago, and he did like his little electronic set, then did some acoustic numbers, and did like a DJ set, and he basically sung over the top of the records, very commercial records. So that's the best one. And the worst one, and again, I'm just giving you what popped into my head, and blimey, I have been to things more recently, but these are examples from 20 odd years ago. I remember going to see Pete Doherty from the Libertines at the Camden Barfly, which was a legendary music venue that no longer exists, above a pub, around 200 people. A lot of bands would play there on their way up. And it was at the time when Pete Doherty was a bit of like the enfant terrible of the tabloids, and you're not much going because it's like, that's the entertainment, it's the theatre of it. And he turned up ridiculously late and then fell out with the bouncer got kicked out, and the gig never happened. So
Bad times.
yeah.
Yeah, bad gig because he didn't even bloody turn up. Wow. All right.
Well, he did turn up. He got kicked out of his own gig.
That's embarrassing. But very rock and roll, like embarrassing, but also rock and roll. You could see it happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so the viewers for the first 5 minutes have endured our non-work conversation. Let's bring it back to business, because this is LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn and YouTube. We've got to appease the people who actually want some insights and acumen. So first and foremost, Nick, really dumb question that other people have asked me in the past. What is fintech?
Fintech is basically technology that in terms of what I see fintech is when the term first started being popularized around 15 years ago, at the height of the financial crisis. The perception with traditional financial services is that they were very much they provided a very poor user experience, and were not on the side. If we're looking at consumer financial services, they were not on the side of the consumer. The consumer was always getting a raw deal. They were never on our side. And with the first wave of fintech companies, it was very much about providing a really great, compelling customer experience, but essentially being on the side of the consumer or the SME to basically get them a better deal, whether that would be Wise, then known as TransferWise, to get individuals very cheap FX. Just a disclaimer: my wife works for Wise, but this is a rare example. But also, get
that promo in. Get that promo in now.
She doesn't need my help.
It works for
you.
Doesn't
need my help. Anyway, and then in terms of like peer-to-peer finance, what we had at the time, the likes of Funding Circle, the model was very much changed. But in terms of peer-to-peer debt finance, a business borrowing money could get much better rates than going to the local bank, and as separate to that, consumers could benefit by getting a better return on lending out their money as long as the business could afford to repay it. And actually, and again, if I'm going off piece, feel free to interrupt me. I was really fortunate to go to the birth of what became the first meeting, which was for the trade body that became Innovate Finance, which is the trade body, which is the trade body of fintech. I was working for CrowdCube at the time, and the founders couldn't be bothered to leave Exeter to go to the Home Office. Was it the Home Office?
In their defense, Exeter is really, really far.
Yeah, but I knew it was really a big deal. And basically, there were like 20 fintech companies in there. Pretty much everyone was like a founder other than me, because I was like I was basically CrowdCube's one London employee at the time. I'm knocking about somewhere. They did this mock-up newspaper, which I've got in a cupboard somewhere, but I felt really privileged to go. That was basically, the start of what became known as, fintech. Yeah.
I have a fun fintech question for you, Nick.
Yeah.
If fintech was a cocktail, what would be in it, and what would you name it?
I think it would definitely have
So go on.
I think it would have a really good mixer in there to help sort of, in terms of connectivity, to pull all those different.
See what I'm doing here, Dale.
Yeah.
See what I'm doing here. No.
Yeah, and I think it would be a vodka and Coke, or vodka and Diet Coke maybe, because it's like the vodka, it's the hit that you need. And the Coke is the mixer that brings it all together. What would I call it? I'd call it Fin Fizz.
Fin Fizz, very good.
It's terrible, isn't it? Sorry.
That's brilliant. Yeah,
that's pretty good for like a off the cuff marketing PR name. I'll give you that. Shout out to Debbie Hales. She's in the comments. She's watching. Long time friend of the show. She's been on. She is the asbestos queen, which is a weird title to give someone, but she ran an asbestos removal company for like 20-30 years. She's an amazing businesswoman, very switched on, loves tech, got tired of developers doing a bad job, was like, I'm gonna do it myself. She's a great person. People should connect with her. Very good, very savvy. Sorry, back on point. We're talking to Nick, not Debbie. It's about Nick today. You mentioned fintech, you mentioned peer-to-pear finance. Could you dumb that one down as well? What is peer-to-peer finance? I mean, it sounds obvious.
And it's really, it's a really interesting point, because I'm chatting to one of the trade bodies actually about doing something looking at how this is changing, because I feel like we've had a full credit cycle since financial crisis. So what peer-to-peer finance was, and it's interesting you asked me because it actually has really gone out of fashion for a variety of reasons. Whereas traditionally individuals or banks, individuals or businesses accessing finance would borrow those funds directly from a financial institution, whereas what peer-to-peer finance was, it was via like an intermediary technology layer. It was connecting, what's the word, lenders and lendees. So what it meant was that if I'm whether it be I'm a business or an individual and I want to borrow money, that I'm borrowing that money from directly from individuals rather than from finance institutions. And it's basically really gone out of fashion. I mean, Funding Circle, that was their original business model. They help businesses borrow funds that were mainly funded through individuals lending money, and the interest rates you could get on the time were like crazy, and the default rates were pretty low. But then COVID came along, and it changed everything. Funding Circle now a listed company. I think they're doing quite well at the moment. But a lot of these companies that were doing peer-to-peer finance, they pivoted their model. Similarly, very topical, I saw it on LinkedIn today that Krea, formerly known as Market Invoice, Market Finance, has been acquired by Alaka Bank. Not sure what sort of good shape that business is in or not, because it's a very distressed market. Probably a relief for the founders to probably have an exit of sorts. The devil will be in the detail. I'm sure we'll have to look at the company's house filings and see what it was valued at, how it was doing. But a lot of these businesses, they create lenders. They got a lot of really good press that went to market through this peer-to-peer aspect. But trends basically changed, and they realised for a variety of reasons it wasn't necessarily a scalable model. So a lot of the original peer-to-peer lenders, they still exist, but they don't do peer-to-peer lending anymore. They more get their money from financial institutions to help lend funds. Yeah.
I feel like I've been talking an awful lot and asked a lot of questions. Zoe, do you have any other questions for Nick?
I just have fun questions. Am I allowed to ask fun questions?
Depends how fun they are. Like if they're too fun, the internet might explode.
They're not too fun. I found one because I was having a think about like what's the most, because obviously you come from a financial background, Nick. So what's the most bizarrest thing you've ever expensed? But also you mentioned you've been an accountant. So what is the most weirdest thing that you've seen someone else try to expense?
I would never confess to any of my weird expenses online, ever.
So with let's start off with the former. I used to be the financial controller at a software company called Sugar CRM, and it's an American company headquartered in America. In the UK company at the time, it was basically me as a financial controller and just loads of salespeople. And some of the stuff one of the things which people always tried to do was that if someone was having a leaving party, they try and expense the leaving party for someone was leaving, someone else was like, I'll go and someone that was a current employee, but I'll go and expense that whole thing. And you weren't meant to do it, but most of the time they got away with it. I would always, question it with the FD, but we had to take a bit of a view on it. But I guess, the reality is, salespeople by their nature will just push things. And I guess and I found that
anything really silly or anything really naughty.
Well, it was like a bottle of wine for like a couple £100. What I'm saying is, it's like,
come on, something naughty.
What do you like?
What about you, Dale? Come on.
What do you want me to say? What do you? I mean, are you like?
I had a client once. So as you all know, I'm not a bookkeeper or an accountant, but I've done client management stuff. And I had a client once ask me if they could purchase a live chicken for the office and have it as an expense. And I was like, what do you mean? And the logic was pretty good, right? They were like, if I buy a live chicken for the office, it can lay eggs and produce eggs for staff as a benefit, and it could be a benefit in kind for the staff. And I was just like, I'm not an accountant, but I'm pretty sure the answer is no. You can't just buy a live chicken and call that a benefit for your staff. That's the best one I've had.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, it could be a breakfast benefit of some sort. I was like, no.
And where does that sit in the? Where does that sit in the accounts? I mean, is that like a live asset that you'd appreciate?
I genuinely don't know. I was like, that doesn't seem. Debbie coming in with the comments. Zoe wants you to say strippers at the party.
I'm trying to go with this. At least something, yes.
Yeah. Nick.
And in terms of what I'm a good boy. I mean, I've never.
You have to say that. You're an accountant. You're an FCA. You're a fellow, and you are on the like advisory board for the ICAEW. You can't even admit to doing naughty things, even if you have.
Yeah, but I just, you know, I mean, quite often when you're like, no, I mean, I'm sorry, I've got nothing exciting to tell you. So I don't, honestly.
I can somewhat relate.
You've been good on your expenses, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Nick, apple pie or cherry pie?
Cherry pie.
Why?
I just prefer you know what? I don't eat cherries in the raw form. I eat apples in the raw form, but just cherry. You know, cherry pie. It makes me think of, and this might be a reference more for like Zoe, but I'm thinking of Agent Cooper in Twin Peaks.
Oh. I was thinking of McDonald's. Can you imagine?
No, but do you remember? Did you watch? You're a couple of years. Did you watch Twin Peaks when it was on?
I remember it.
So basically, it was a very, very, very culty TV show in the very early 90s. Yeah. Well, my older brother did. They made some films made by David Lynch that died last year. And there was one of the characters called Agent Cooper, and for him, his morning routine was all about his cherry pie and coffee.
Agent Cooper. Oh my God,
Agent Cooper. Yeah. So.
And also, for everyone watching, can I just point out? Can we talk about the age thing? Just because I'm going to really enjoy it.
Because of the youngest looking.
No, because apparently we were working out how old we all were. I'm the oldest, apparently, everybody, by 3 years. And I feel really delighted by that. Look at me being the oldest. I feel all grown up.
I mean, real grown-ups don't call themselves grown-ups, that's for sure.
Sam's comment, McDonald's apple pie. But isn't the thing with McDonald's, the pie, isn't it one of those things that it's always known that they're too... Isn't that part of like the whole when they had the lawsuits back in the day because someone like tried to eat one of the pies and they're just way too hot and people tried to like sue them and stuff.
And they're tasteless now, unfortunately. Right. So again, Sam, McDonald's apple pie, 100%, but they're not very tasty anymore, are they, Sam?
I think they're still pretty tasty. I had one yesterday. Going back a few comments, by the way. So Debbie actually asked a question that was business related. Should we go back business or should we stay on fun for now? What do you guys want to do? How are you feeling, Nick? What do you want to do? Fun or business?
Let's do fun. Fun's
right,
more fun.
Sorry, Debbie. We'll come back to a question maybe later, but we're stuck on the fun track. Debbie, puppy for the office. No, Debbie, that's not an expense. You can't account for it. And you've answered your own question. She says, if it doesn't make sense, you can't account for it. She's right. She's right.
Yeah. What about McDonald's apple pies? Really fancy one now.
I had one yesterday. They're still on point. Now, I would argue that the chicken nuggets, the formula has changed. They've maybe taken like the MSG out of them. They're not as good as I remember when they were a kid.
They're not as Moorish either. Like you eat them and then you're satisfied.
Yeah, the MSG.
It's all about the self-service screens. Which when you're on holiday, what's great is wherever you go in the world, you've always got a McDonald's, and if you can now do your self-service, you know, it's all about the language barrier. So I'm a big fan of that.
How many people touch those screens? I mean, there's no. Do you know? Like, everyone touches those screens, but no one washes their hands before or after it. I mean, seriously.
I've never thought of that. You've just ruined the screens.
Right. Well, you must have hated COVID times. I remember like going to the supermarket and people were like, "I don't want to push my fingers on these buttons when I enter get my card." That's why I want to do contactless.
I'm not bad into it, but the one thing that eats me out is I'm going to go and have some food, and then I'm going to touch probably one of the dirtiest items in the whole entire place to order my food, which I'm going to eat with my hands with no offering of clean hands.
Have you ever thought about ordering? Do you reckon if you used your nose that would work? Because then you don't have to use it.
It would work, but you'd be then putting like all the germs near your nose, which you would then inhale. So.
Oh my gosh! Okay, good point. Okay, so what do we need? You know those things you used to use to count stamps? I don't know again if you're all too young for this, but you know you used to have like a little rubber thing on your finger.
Yeah, but is it meant to be for knit? And when you're like a rubber thimble?
Yes, a rubber thimble. Maybe they should offer those. That could be.
But that wouldn't work.
But
it needs a conductivity of your finger to work.
How about fingerless gloves where you can do it?
Then you're still touching it.
No, and you just put a little sleeve on your finger and then you
Yeah,
press.
McDonald's aren't going to pay for a special glove where you can touch their screen without making a mess.
It's like
Sam's coming with a really good question, bringing this back on track to questions. What is everyone's standards Mackie meal? What's your go-to order?
I mean, I don't go that often, but I would, and tell you what, for me, it's all about, I'll tell you when I do the Mackie D's really, it's when you've got a wedding, you've got to drive to, and you're stopping off at motorway services, right? Yeah. It's when you get off an aeroplane and you need something to eat, right? Or it's when you're overseas and you just need to get some food quickly. So for me, Big Mac meal, no cheese, no ketchup, Diet Coke. Go large for next to 60p. Why not?
Are you lactose intolerant?
No, it's just a dietary preference.
Okay. And no sauce.
I don't think they put ketchup in Big Macs, though, do they?
I have sauce, but not ketchup. I just don't. You know what? I just not. I'm happy with like burgers. I just don't want ketchup on.
So I'm with you. First of all, Zoe's right. They don't put ketchup in Big Macs. Second of all, I think ketchup is a source. I'm gonna say an inflammatory statement. Ketchup is a source of heathens. It's trash. Don't eat it. It's terrible sauce.
It's so sugary.
Sauce. It's disgusting.
Good
shout.
What's it with roast dinners?
Very funny. Very funny, Zoe. I see you trying to be inflammatory. I see you. You do not put ketchup on a roast dinner. I clocked you straight away. Like, what?
I do.
You do. You put
anyway,
ketchup
you
on a roast
guys. So
dinner.
what's your go-to? Sorry, what's your go-to meals?
After you, Zoe, go on.
Oh, okay. So I'm standard Big Mac. But chips with the curry sauce. Have you ever tried chips with the curry sauce? No one ever thinks about this, right? The curry sauce and the chips, remarkable.
My go-to order is 2 double cheeseburgers and 20 nuggets. They'll be my standard order.
Oh, yeah.
20 nuggets?
I'll destroy those nuggets, Nick, without even thinking about it.
Wow. Okay.
What dip?
That's
With what
impressive.
dip?
I will go for a variety of dips. It will usually be the curry and the sweet and sour dips, but usually the curry. Because I genuinely dislike barbecue sauce.
I didn't know they even did curry dips. Quite.
Yeah, they do curry and a sweet and sour sauce.
Is that a British? If I go to like McDonald's in France, can I get a curry sauce, or is it like a British thing?
I'm not sure. I think they change the sauces in different countries. So like in Japan, you get like wasabi flavored sauce and stuff like that. So it's probably different in France. I mean, you can buy beer in France in McDonald's, which is a cultural difference.
Yeah. I love it.
Sam,
One
great
thing
question.
I don't understand though is you have a Big Mac from McDonald's, but Burger King used to have their what was their Burger King version?
The
It was
Whopper.
called the Big King. No, it was called a Big King. It was my favourite burger from Burger King.
I forgot about that.
Big King, right?
Yeah.
And then Big Mac took over, but now the Big King doesn't exist, and I feel very sad about it.
Because Burger King is way more expensive and their burgers aren't as tasty. Do you mean like Burger King is steep in the price?
It is expensive, but they taste better.
Well, they're saying that inflation, McDonald's is getting kind of expensive. Like a large Big Mac is like £8, £9 now, which is ridiculous.
Again, I need to take this back because I know, me and Zoe got a few years on you, but Zoe, do you remember the £2.88 McDonald's value meal adverts on TV? £2. There was always, for years, £2, and the advert was always like £2.88, £2.88, and it didn't change for years. Do you remember that?
Wait there. Who had a party in the 80s at McDonald's? A proper McDonald's party.
I went
Not
to
in the
one.
80s,
I was
in the
invited.
90s, but I remember going to them as a kid. Yes, McDonald's used to have them.
And did they used to lock you in the fridge freezer just for a laugh?
No, just you, Zoe.
I did it at McDonald's.
Yeah.
All the kids just went, can I have my party at McDonald's so they can lock me in the fridge? Right, isn't it?
Can we also judge Debbie Hales for dipping her chips in her milkshake? Haven't had one in years, but used to dip the chips in the milkshake.
My
Come on,
daughter does that, Debbie. My daughter does that. I
You're
love
wrong,
that.
You're wrong.
Oh, I love it.
And she says chicken royale, which I assume is the Burger King thing. It's a chicken thing.
Yeah.
You know why it's called a royale with cheese, right?
Oh, yeah, with cheese.
I just realised there's so many people watching this who've never watched Pulp Fiction, so I never got the reference. Right. The metric system. That's the answer.
That was a good McDonald's conversation. I actually enjoyed that.
As opposed to the terrible McDonald's conversations you usually have?
Yeah, I definitely think this is one of my favourite conversations.
Just putting it, McDonald's, it provides a great, for what it is, it provides a great service.
Do you know what? I think we should zoom in. Let's zoom in. Boom. There we are.
Oh, well, it's like, yeah, good.
We're gonna put Nick in the middle because he's important.
It is important. I'm going to take a picture of the importancy. Ready? Smile. Lovely, thank you. I always try and get Dale smiling.
Okay.
I have to do it when he's smiling.
Should we move on from McDonald's? Are we sponsored by McDonald's now?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna do something I don't usually do. I'm gonna reference a
Right.
conversation we had backstage in the warm up before, and then hopefully it will come into an interesting conversation. This could backfire horribly. Don't worry, Nick. I'm not going to stitch you up. Calm down, relax.
Right.
In the original post for the promo of this episode of FM, I
Yeah.
put a question: is apple pie better than cherry pie? I then asked you that question. You said cherry pie, but in the pre-show prep, you'd hinted that I'd done some very good research to ask that question. Why do you think I'd done good research?
So I'll try and be as succinct as I can do. I assumed you would have used something like ChatGPT or done some Google on me just to be, well prepared as you are. And basically, many years ago, I used to run a music promotion in London for Swedish musicians. We've got Swedish musicians to come to London and showcase them to a UK audience. Theory being London, gateway to your, UK being the gateway to Europe in terms of music. And my friend that I was running it with, we discovered this band that actually went on to do quite well called Those Dancing Days, and I wrote a review of them before they had a record deal, and I described them as, just in passing in a review, as apple pie pop, and that basically ended up making it into their official biography. So I thought it was, and they ended up being on a Disney. There's some Disney. If you look Google them, they don't exist anymore. They ended up being on the soundtrack of a Disney movie. Yeah, I said it was just a throwaway comment I made, and so I thought if you Google like Those Dancing Days apple pie pop, and I thought it might have been something connected to mine. That's what I thought. So.
No. So honestly, I did ask Copilot to screen your LinkedIn profile, but it gave me nothing but gibberish, so I ignored it. The apple pie versus cherry pie was a random question that came out of my head as I typed out the post last night. That's literally what happened.
Okay.
So cool. Wait, so you worked in the music scene as well as the finance scene?
Yeah, so basically, music was my first love. Music was my first love, and so when I first graduated from uni, I did a number of entrepreneurial ventures while just living at home with my parents. I ran a Swedish music promotion in London called Tack Tack Tack, where my friend that I ran it with, it's so bizarre, we ended up being invited over to Sweden and gave lectures on digital marketing in music colleges. And then one of the students came up to us and he goes, "Oh, we had the Hives manager the night before, and you guys, what you're giving us is much more practical, much better." So, and it was one of these things where we created like a lot of noise, but it just wasn't really scalable. But I made some really good connections, like with Spotify. I think I was one of the first 1,000 users globally because I was part of the beta, because I knew I actually almost put on Spotify's launch of it. Sorry?
You're on Spotify? Are you listed on Spotify?
No, I'm just saying as a user, I was part of originally it was a closed beta where you had to be invited before it opened up to the public, and I think I was one of the first 1,000 people. And actually I almost I was in talks to put on when they launched in the UK. They wanted to put on an event, and I was in talks to actually put on. It was only like a small event, but it would have been like their launch event in the UK. And for reasons I won't bore you with, it didn't happen. But the lady that I was chatting to about the work there, I don't know if you've seen on Netflix, there's a documentary series about Spotify, and the woman that Sophia Benz is her name. She's a venture capitalist now. She's in the TV. She's got like a major. There's someone playing her in the Spotify series on Netflix. I was thinking, I was sitting in Starbucks even on Tottenham Court Road, and now I'm just sitting here like fighting about with accounting content, and you're like in a Netflix. Someone's playing you in a Netflix series.
This is one of the things I love most about this show. Let's just be clear, right? We now have someone on the show who's one of the first ever beta users of
Spotify. I was even the first 500 or first 1,000 users. Yeah,
that's pretty
Nick,
cool.
If someone was to play you in a film, who would it be?
If someone what? Sorry.
If someone was to play you in a film, who would it be?
Well, I haven't had it before, but I used to get told I look like a young Al Pacino. So Al Pacino to play me.
You can't. No way. You can't pick Al Pacino. He's older than you.
Yeah, I know, but mate, who would I get to play me? I mean, can I just get Adam Levine to play me?
Adam Levine to play you. Yeah.
Oh, actually, the other one I get. Who's that guy? The Royal. Oh, you know who I was get? It's the French. Who's that? There's also the bloke who's in the Royal Tenenbaums. Who's the character?
Hey, I know we're live, but feel free to Google it. Zoe and I will fill the time while you Google who that is.
I'm not good. I'm not good at. I gotta say, I'm not a good film Who's this?
Right.
Hold on.
Sorry, I said we fill the space. Who would play me?
Yeah.
The Chocolate Rain guy. Tay-Zonday. Chocolate Rain. Do you remember that?
No, I need to Google that too.
It was a YouTube thing like 15 years ago. A guy with a disgustingly, his voice didn't match his face, basically, a very deep voice. And he made a song called Chocolate Rain. Sam Green reckons it could be Sacha Baron Cohen.
Interesting. I get Jason Schwartz. You know Jason Schwartzman. Do you know who that is?
Okay. Okay. Also, Debbie's saying maybe David Tennant. Okay, I can kind of see that.
I have had that. I have had David Tennant as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Sam and Debbie, thank you for the suggestions. These are pretty good. These are pretty good.
You do have a bit of a famous, your eyes and the shape of your face. You could actually. This is quite a good question because you could. Yeah, there's quite a lot of things you could be actually.
Let's ask some serious questions.
Yeah.
Why should someone younger than you, Nick, someone who's maybe a school leaver or a graduate of uni, why should they go into the realm of fintech / accounting / bookkeeping? What's so good about it? Why would you pick a career in it nowadays?
I think because whereas historically accounting has been sort of very slow moving and staid and process driven, and some people want that. Look, some people for a quiet life, some people want that for a career, and I'm not knocking it. That said, I don't think there's any such thing as a job for life anymore. But because there's so much change going on the industry, if you're like excited by like new experiences and exploring new ways of doing things, I think it's a great opportunity. Whether it be MTD for IT coming in, various developments around payables tools, how that real time data can allow you to have more sort of insights. The fact that we're moving more towards like a cashless society. So if you're looking after the books of an organisation, that used to be. I remember some of the jobs I used to do when I was doing an audit, where it's like any business which is like cash based. The complications around like doing the reconciliation for like the bank and trying to find the differences. And then that impairs availability of real-time data, and I think just in terms of AI impacting everything, just seeing how that's going to impact the industry and how one can leverage the benefits of that, and maybe those benefits are going to be the more human relationship.
Can I ask two?
Yeah.
Sorry, bit of a delay there. Can I ask two layman questions? One comes from a viewer, one's from me. When accountants talk about audit or being an audit accountant, what is this? What are you auditing? Why do you do it?
I mean, audit, an external audit is an annual exercise that companies that are above certain thresholds have to do to show that their books I'm trying to get the right terminology, showing that their accounts are free from material misstatement.
So they're legit, right? Make sure the accounts are legit.
So that no one's just like basically made up all the numbers. Yeah.
Because presumably the larger the company, the easier it is to hide smaller transactions, which can be considered negligible.
Yeah.
But that could be someone moving that money around illegally, right? That's what it could be, right?
Yeah. And so just to give different stakeholders confidence, whether that be investors in a business, whether that be customers, whether that be suppliers, whether that be employees. And it's one of those things
it's a highly regulated 360 external view, essentially, isn't it? Just because but it's so regulated though.
There's been a lot. I've got to say, I was doing a lot. There was so much talk about audit reform a few years ago, and I was doing quite a lot of content on it. I haven't looked at it for a while, but it's the accusation made was that audit was a sort of Victorian process. It wasn't really fit for the 21st century. But there's some really interesting innovation going on. You've got companies like Circuit and Inflow that are using technology to streamline a lot of these processes, and also in terms of connectivity. Yes, but it's one of those things. Historically, when you undergo your ACA training, a lot of those training contracts are in audit, and a lot of people go down the audit route. They don't want to do it, but that's what they have to do to get their training contract. not many people want to stay in it. But if you do, I think because it's hard to find good people, if you do stay in it, you can make good money. But a lot of people don't want to do it.
I love the audit lot. I love the audit lot. They're a good old bunch because we run the audit summit, and I've only been doing it for.
Love the auditors.
So my friendship with the audit lot is very new for me, and lovely. They're such a great bunch.
So I'm just going to jump into the comments real quick. Kirsty St. John says hello. She's a friend of the show. Hey, Kirsty. I think she's going to be on in a few weeks / months, maybe. I don't know. And let's answer Debbie's question, because I said I had 2 questions. One's from a viewer. Debbie asked a very good question that maybe all 3 of us might be able to answer together. What is MTD for IT? I'm happy to take a stab at this one because I'm supposed to know these things. Or Nick, if you want to give it a go.
So MTD for IT, MTD for making that digital for income tax. This is the new regulation coming in 5th of April next year. I think it's if you're a sole trader or landlord, I think if your income is above £50,000 or more from tax year 2025-26, you will need to maintain MTD compliant records and make your quarterly filings. So huge change, which unless it's delayed again, it's been the roadmap's changed sometimes. It's going to have some enormous.
Can I give a non-sponsored tip for those who are impacted by MTD for IT? There are lots of tools out there, Xero, QuickBooks, and I don't have a particular preference, but if you're looking for one that's really, really cheap and convenient for you, open up a NatWest, Metal, or RBS business bank account and get Free Agent. It does a good job. It's not expensive. It's free. Well, it's not free. It comes with the bank account. The bank account doesn't cost you anything. And they're doing a very good job. It had a bad rep about 5 to 6 years ago. I didn't like it, but I tested it again. It's actually pretty decent. So if you're in that lower income and you're impacted by MTD, check out one of these bank accounts and get Free Agent for free. They're not paying me to say this. Again, Xero, QuickBooks, and others are all equally as good. But if you just don't want to pay, I don't know, between £7 and £30 a month for your software.
Small companies don't want to do that, do they? They don't want to pay. So yeah,
if you're like my parents and you've got a second property and you've got technically landlords who don't earn tons of money, they've just got a second property, they're going to have to maintain records. Like they don't want to have to pay for full-on software. So
I've heard that as well, actually.
Oh, I was about to say, when I first joined the accountancy profession 12, 13 years ago, I remember someone saying MTD, and I remember writing it down in my book. MTD. I went off to look at it. What does MTD stand for? And it's making tax digital. And I think, how many times have they deferred the actual launching of it? Is this now the 3rd, 4th time?
Well, they delayed VAT for a while, and they delayed it / ITSA because they changed the name. They kick it back every so often. And it's funny because like other countries in Europe are way ahead of us. Like Estonia, if you want to check out Estonia's tax and not just finance structure, but like literally just their tech and everything, like the e-invoicing, they've had it for years, and they laugh at us because they're just like their population is like 3 million, right? The whole country is like 3 or 4 million, and everyone's just got digital ID cards. Everything's tax, MTD is not a thing. Everything's been digital. Now there are reasons for this, but they're way ahead of us in terms of just making it efficient. So
imagine being the head honcho at HMRC that has to implement this whole technology, because it's a bit of chicken egg, isn't it? Because they need HMRC kind of need MTD for the money, but then they also need to put money in to create the technology infrastructure. I mean, who would want to ever take on that head honcho role to do all of that at HMRC?
I'll do it.
Getting a bit deep here, Jail.
And we've had so many, we've had so many government. I mean, it's George Osborne that initially announced it 10 years ago now. So you had so many governmental change. I guess, look, it's a testament to whether you like it or not, the fact that it is actually going ahead, because one of the criticisms that's made of governments in general in the UK is that we tend to think people are never thinking beyond more than 5-year term.
Comment from Debbie Hales: controversial. AI is a tool. Don't let it make you seem like one. Good advice, Debbie. Mark Howison, also a long-time friend of the show. In fact, controversial. He wrote the theme song for FM. Well, he kind of did, and kind of didn't. He's given us a Spotify link. I don't know how you can copy and paste from that. Let's see. I don't know. I'll leave that on the screen for a little while. If people want to like screenshot it and type that down later. Or if he's commenting from LinkedIn, so find the comment on LinkedIn, you can copy and paste latest single release. So he made the theme tune for FM whilst on the show, right? Another guest dropped out. He joined us, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, guys, I think I can write you a ditty for this show." And he went to ChatGPT. He wrote some lyrics. He whacked them into some kind of amazing AI production software, and it made the song you heard this morning. If you started,
I keep forgetting to ask you that, 'cause it's very it's really poppy, isn't it? It's like
it's very good.
Beat to it, a little bit at the end.
And I feel
Is it?
conflicted about it because as someone who plays an instrument and likes music production and appreciates artists, I hate that AI is that damn good, but I can also appreciate that AI is that damn good. Like, am I making sense? Like, it's a rock and a hard place kind of thing.
I mean, my Instagram feed has been taken over by there's this tool where you must be able to make spoof adverts. It's people doing adverts for a lot of the like McDonald's, Nando's, and they're basically taking the P out of them. It's very funny. Are you getting those in your feed?
I have got AI versions of songs in different genres. So I've got System of a Down, metal band, and I've got a country version of their song. I've also got a jive disco version of some of their songs, and they're amazing. And again, they sound great, so I like it, but I'm also sad because someone just popped it in and AI has churned it out. But it does sound amazing hearing Toxicity in a disco version. Google it.
Because Serge's book has just come out, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you were a System of a Down fan.
I'm not, but I just have a really, I'm really good at picking up information that apparently I find really useless at the time, but I have a reason to mention it. Just in other situations.
I can't pronounce his last name. I want to say Serge Tankalian or something like that. But
so yeah.
Lead singer of System of a Down.
Would you say that was your? So what's your superpower then, Nick?
My superpower. You know what my superpower is, and it might become redundant soon. My superpower is that I can touch type really, really quickly, about 70 words a minute. I know that might not sound like a superpower, but I'm amazed that in 2025, most people we all seem to use computers. Most people can't touch type, and I just think I know some people are like, but like I just find from an efficiency point of view, the fact that I can like type, I could be talking to you and like typing without looking at the keyboard. I was very fortunate that I learned how to type at the age of 10. I've got a learning difficulty called dyspraxia, which means I have problems with spatial awareness. I can't really write properly by hand, so I learned how to touch type at the age of 10, and that really has been my superpower.
I find that I really like that. I was actually talking about because being born in 1979, I actually I have a GCSE in typewriting to the point where I did it. On
did you say? Yeah.
Typewriter on a and we had little Tipex paper. I mean, this is crazy to think. Like,
it went backwards. Yeah, you go backwards. I remember those. Yeah.
But the fact is, this is so interesting because actually I can't touch type particularly well, but it's not a skill, is it? But it could be.
But what I don't understand is everyone's like, oh, you need to learn to code, you learn to code. But surely, like before, and I appreciate, we might get to a point where like voice recognition software gets so good that maybe we're not just typing ever again, right? And then the whole. But while we are still doing physical inputs on keyboards, surely it makes sense to learn how to touch type before you code, because then you can code faster.
Correct. As a former web developer, that's why I can touch type pretty well.
Right. So you can touch type.
Yeah. Don't just look at the screen. Look away. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna give Mark Howison another shout out. He's given us another link, and the reason being, I'll go with the latest comment. All proceeds from the song goes to Bowel Cancer UK charity. I can't ignore that. So he's got another link here. It's another, I think, a LinkedIn post. I'm happy to promote that, man. Yeah, thank you, dude. So I don't know, Mark, if you could confirm, the track you've put on Spotify, is it an AI song that you've put on Spotify to raise money for Bowel Cancer UK? Is that what you've done? Just yes or no, that'd be grand. If so, kind of power to you, because yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a good idea. I do like that.
Yeah.
I have another fun question to ask. Dale, am I allowed to crack on?
So you can do as you please. Go for it.
Nick, you're stranded on a desert island. What one accountancy or fintech tool would you take with you, and what snack are you bringing with you?
Accountancy tool for a desert island, but I just wouldn't bother. It's just like, what good's that going to do me? Do you know what I mean? Or so I can like take a tool to scan my receipts.
Okay, can I branch off that question then? Stealing from I want to say Radio 4. What are your 3 desert island discs? There you go.
Okay, and you know what? I've actually been albums or individual songs.
Let's go for albums. Three albums that you're stranded.
It's funny because I remember being at the Accounting Excellence Awards with Zoe about 3 years ago. We went through this, so a couple that come to mind immediately is "Quiet is the New Loud" by Kings of Convenience. They're the Norwegian duo that's got a guy called Erlend Øye that I mentioned. That's one of my favourite other gigs. "Chill Out" by the KLF that were a very experimental pop group in the early 90s that set fire to £1 million. We can talk about that if we have time. And then the third one, you know what I'm thinking, because me and Richard Sargent, we've got quite similar taste. We're both big KLF fans. I know he's a big Massive Attack fan. So just by making me think of him, I'm thinking of Blue Lions, the first Massive Attack album. Which is one of those three. I'm just put on the spot.
Nice,
yeah, like that.
nice.
And wait there, what snack would you take?
And snack, I take some like really nice spicy olives, but I want them pitted. But I don't want anything in the holes. I don't want nothing in the holes.
Very clear. Thank you for that. Very clear.
I don't like it when people put things in the hole. You know, they need to have the pits taken out, but I don't want anything.
Dale, I'm going to do a Tony now. No. Nick, carry on.
You want to talk about olives?
Yes, let's talk about olives.
Because you know the other olives, Pete. There's nothing that annoys you more when you order a pizza with olives and they don't take the stones out. It's so undignified.
Oh, you just order a pizza and they put olives on it, Nick. I don't like olives.
No. My point is when they haven't pitted them, so the stones are in them. So you're munching on them. And what I mean, I don't mean it sounds like such like a bourgeois middle class thing, but I just think it's undignified. Like, what's the point?
No, I'm with you. They should be pitted olives if they're going on a pizza.
Yeah, if not, don't bother. If not, I just wouldn't bother with them.
I don't mind eating pitted olives, but on a pizza, I've already, they should already be kind of semi-processed. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I agree. Green olives or black olives?
Green.
Okay.
Bit fruitier.
I'm with you. And also, I feel like they tend to do more marinades with green olives, like different olives and flavors and seasonings, whereas black olives don't get as much love.
I mean, the olives in Nando's are pretty banging, I must say.
They've got that kind of seasoning on them. Yeah, they're pretty good. So wait, Zoe, you just don't like olives at all?
Oh my God, no! They love them because I've been in Morocco, right? I've been on holiday, and they put it on bloody everything, and I can taste the tiniest little minute bit of it, and I can taste it, and I'm done. Ugh.
So Nick, so Zoe has an aversion to olives to the point where they really ruin the flavor of a dish. Do you have anything that really ruins the flavor of a dish, other than ketchup and cheese?
Anchovies. I
don't like anchovies.
I hate No, and it's more like, I know, like when you get a pizza, they're only a small, but they're so overpowering. I don't like them, but they're so overpowering. They infect everything.
See, FN, we help you answer the important questions. If you want to know what Nick Levine hates the most on his pizza, it's anchovies, man. Forget that he's one of the first users of Spotify, and forget that he's worked for the ICAEW. Forget that he's worked for Deloitte, these amazing companies.
Yeah.
Forget all that stuff. Just anchovies and cheese and ketchup. He doesn't like important things.
No, I love ketchup. I'm trying to say to my son, don't copy me because it's so bad. I have like a gallon of ketchup and chips.
Yeah, do as I say, not do as I do. Got it.
Don't. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely hypocrite. Yeah.
Dale loves to do these little kind of silences when he does this thing with the live. It's really fun. Yeah, just let him do it.
Well, because sometimes I feel like sometimes we can just talk too much. Also, I'm letting people in the comments comment because there's like a 10-15 second delay between live and comments. So I'm giving people time to catch up.
Can I see who's like from this toggle? Can I toggle to see who's watching it?
So unfortunately you can't, because for whatever reason, despite StreamYard being the chosen sponsor or partner with LinkedIn, it doesn't show you how many people are viewing. It should show me this, it doesn't. I can now put the show comments feature on stage, but it kind of covers Zoe up. That's why I removed it. I don't know if you can see that.
Right.
I can also bring up comments. For example, Kirsty St. John, I'm with you, Zoe Losa Cooper, down with olives. You're both wrong. And again, Mark explaining, sorry, it was a song we created for YouTube Travel Vlogger, and I made it with the help from AI tools. So yes. So yeah, if you go back, Nick, if you feel like it, on the comments, these will all be on LinkedIn. Some people are commenting from YouTube. Yeah. But unfortunately, whilst we're live, you can't see diddly squat. I don't know why. It's very frustrating.
So Nick, I know you love your music and your arts, but I'd like you to explain the arts behind you, please. I don't know.
So we have here. Actually, you know what? This one here has actually got a really good. That one's got a really good story behind it as well. They're both by the same art. They're both by the same artist called Jimmy Corti, who were originally known for being in a pop group called the KLF in the early 90s, who were they were the biggest selling singles act in the world in 1992, and all the rights to their recordings, and they took $1 million, they deleted their entire back catalogue, took £1 million out of their bank account, and went and set fire to it. But let's park that. But this one here is, I went to university at Sussex near Brighton, and Jimmy Corti was living there at the time, and I was at the train station on the 5th of November 2004. And I could see these images were being put up, and I'm sad enough that although at the time Jimmy Corti was this like nondescript bloke in his mid-50s, I'm sad enough that I recognised it was him, partly because it's actually says JC underneath. And this was a placard being put up on the wall of the railings at Fowler train station, and I basically convinced him to give it to me. And I've had it ever since. So that's, I've owned that for like 21 years. And then the other one, this is the it's called a stamp of mass destruction. When the Queen died, it says 96 because that was how old she was when she died. And he's done various editions of these stamps of mass destruction of the Queen, and this was the last. She died. This was the last one, and me and Richard Sargent. Richard's been on this show, right?
Twice,
yeah. We're basically like the biggest like KLF nerds. They're the biggest nerds. So yeah, I mean, I could go down a rabbit hole, but I won't unless you want me to. I'll leave it there.
Well, could you sell KLF to someone who's never heard them before? What's KLF? What they?
So what I'll say is they're more of like a sort of a concept than a pop group. They were very ahead of their time in that they really knew how to like manipulate the media in a very like Banksy kind of way in terms of creating hype. I think Banksy probably nicked from the KLF playbook. But for the KLF, it's as much about the gestures that they did around the music. The music is really good, but there's so many crazy stunts they did. It's like setting fire to £1 million. I've got the book here. K Foundation set fire to £1 million. Got photos when they burnt all the money. They deleted their entire back catalogue that they owned the rights to. The Brit Awards in 1992, and when they were on stage, they got out a fake machine gun and fired it at the audience. You can see that on YouTube.
Wow.
And there's a brilliant
that would not go down
film
well by today's standards. That would be an instant dismissal / execution.
Well, they stopped filming the Brit Awards live after, pretty much because of that. And there's a really great documentary that was made a couple of years ago about the KLF called Who Killed the KLF? And you can access that. That's a real sort of primer. But they're very interesting. Very, very interesting people that still do other stuff now, but not music. They're currently trying to build a pyramid of dead people that will outlast them. That every year they get people to send in relatives to send in the ashes of people. Sorry?
I thought that they literally asking people to send people of dead people in, but then
so if you want to be part of their pyramid, you can fill out the request form that you want some of your ashes to be put into a brick, which your relatives will send in. And every year on the 23rd of November, I'm not making this up, they add new dead people to the pyramid. I'm not making this up.
Statement. No, I believe you. Thing is, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yes.
Unfortunately, honestly, Nick, you're a great guest. We could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, but we've all got work to do and stuff to do. Please come back again at some point. Before we let you go, the final question generally is: do you have some advice, nugget of wisdom, or words of encouragement you just want to end the stream on? Please just drop that knowledge now. Whatever you want. It can be work, it can be business, it can be spiritual. Just say it, and then we'll hit.
What I'd say is, I think as someone, that is an accountant, a qualified accountant that's taken a fairly unconventional route. I just think that. And we alluded to this with AI. I think there's been so much change going on in the industry. Be confident of plotting out your own path. It used to be that once you're in accounting in practice, and you went into industry, you could never go back to practice. that's completely changed. That's just one example I'm going to give you. But I think being try in terms of how you can plot out what your career to look like. Have confidence to try different things, because worst case scenario, you can probably just go back to being an accountant in practice. That's my plan B anyway.